Hello and welcome to the channel. So I am here with a video that I've actually been wanting to make for a little while now actually, but I figured that now since we're at the end of the year, I figured that why not, go ahead and talk about it. Now for a change, I'm actually going to be talking about Demon Hunter. Now, you guys know, if you guys have been longtime subscribers of mine, mainly years like 2014, 2015, and even 2016, Demon Hunter was a band that I've considered my favorite for several years. I mean, especially during the early days, the first few years of this channel. And with that being, I've created a lot of content on this channel related to Demon Hunter. And, well, as of recent, you guys could probably notice that the Demon Hunter content is definitely lacking. Like, I don't really make a whole lot of videos on them like I used to. Now, I know that there are still some people out there that do still assume that Demon Hunter is my number one favorite band of all time, which at one point they were. Like, for many years, I considered them my number one favorite band. Like, I thought that they were just an untouchable band, in the metalcore subgenre. Like, I thought that they were the best and, like, they were the most unique. Now, I still do think that they are the most unique band. I mean, that's without a doubt, but I wouldn't go as far to say as, I guess, the best these days. But to those people that think that, I still put them as my number one, well, you'd be wrong about that. And I think the lack of Demon Hunter content as of recent really speaks for itself, I think. And it's pretty clear that, well, to be honest, I'm not really feeling the passion with this band as I used to. Now, keep in mind, that's not to say that, I'm not going to be a Demon Hunter fan anymore, It's just the passion isn't, like, there like it used to be, But I still always will be a Demon Hunter fan, I'll still always listen to whatever album they have coming out and whatever, and I'll still listen to their music time to time. But I feel like there are a few reasons for this, and I think really the gist of it all is, have I taken this band a little too serious? More than I should have? And my quick answer would be yes, but to an extent. I do feel like I still have, I guess, reasonable, explanations to why I've taken this band as serious for as long as I did, Now, like I said, I've considered them my number one favorite band of all time, and I think, because of that, it was due to nostalgia, because, well, I've said before that Demon Hunter was one of the first metal bands that I've gotten into, and I think that was really one of the things that really made me feel the passion about them, They were one of the guys that really helped me get into metal more and, things like that, and especially metalcore. But yeah, you get the idea. So nostalgia is probably something that does play a factor. And, in the past, I was big on nostalgia, Now, nostalgia, I've talked about this subject before, and I feel like when it comes to nostalgia in music, it could be a pretty powerful thing, because you do end up preferring the bands you've been a fan of longer than the bands that you just discovered that may potentially have more talent than the bands you have nostalgic feelings for. And it's just one of those things that you're just not willing to admit, because the nostalgia is taking over your mindset, And that's one of the things that I really, I really had with Demon Hunter, for sure. I mean, I've listened to other metalcore bands like As I Lay Dying and Killswitch Engage, and, even when I discovered those metalcore bands, at first I didn't think that not even those bands could top any of Demon Hunter's material, But that obviously was not the right mindset to have, of course. Obviously, that's the nostalgia talking. Now, maybe Demon Hunter still is more unique than those bands. I would definitely say that. But unique doesn't always mean better. That's the thing. And the thing is with nostalgia, too, is, there's nothing wrong with having nostalgic feelings for a band that you like, But I think it is one of those cases where it's what you do with your nostalgia is what counts. You know, you have to be a little objective with the music that you listen to, and not just claim this band to be better because you've been a fan of them longer or whatever. You know, it's one of those cases where I feel like you actually have to look at the music objectively and look at it for what it is. That's something that I do see with a lot of individuals. There's a lot of people that just live in the nostalgia. Like, they won't leave the past at all. You know, unless, you know, they're trying out something that sounds like, you know, what they're already familiar with or something like that. And that's no way to live either, you know. I'm into a lot of subgenres of metal now, so yeah. Now, some people might say that Demon Hunter has fallen off for me because, well, as of late, I've been more in preference to the older style of metal, you know, the classic style of metal. I do feel like that might be part of it, but I don't know. There's, you know, even when it comes to modern bands, there's still, you know, bands that I still enjoy, you know, today, you know, that I still will listen to time to time. Obviously, not as much as the classic bands, but yeah. That, I think that is something that would play a factor just a little bit. The fact that, you know, I mainly gravitate towards the classic bands these days. And I know people think that I sold out based on that idea, but no, it's just the era that I appreciate more genuinely. So, yeah, that's definitely something that I do think plays a factor. And one thing that I have noticed when it came to me and my, I guess, Demon Hunter fandom was, you know, back when I heard that Outlive was coming out, because that came out in 2017, you know, I was very hyped for that album when I heard about it in late 2016, you know. So whenever the album came out, I was listening to it a lot, you know. And this year, you know, throughout the year 2019, when War and Peace came out, I was honestly, I felt like I've listened to Outlive more in 2017 than I did War and Peace in 2019. Now, hold up. That's not to say that I prefer Outlive over War and Peace or anything like that. No, I actually do think War and Peace are better albums overall than Outlive. But I'm just talking, you know, the amount of times that I've, you know, listened to them. Throughout the year of 2019, I listen to some of their songs on War and Peace often. Don't get me wrong. I mean, because there's still a lot of great stuff on War and Peace, even though the albums kind of have fallen off for me. I still do think that there's some good songs on both albums. But I don't know. Whenever Outlive came out, I feel like I've returned to that album a lot in 2017. You know, way more than I returned to War and Peace in 2019. So I feel like, you know, as that's coming along, you can definitely tell that the passion is definitely wearing off and off and off and off, you know. And my time with Demon Hunter, you can tell, is starting to become less and less and less. And it goes to show with Outlive's, or, well, War and Peace's replay value that did for me in 2019. Opposed to Outlive in 2017, because, well, like I said, I just feel like I've returned to Outlive a lot more throughout 2017 than I did War and Peace this year, you know? So I think, you know, the passion just, you know, was more there at the time whenever Outlive came out. And, you know, some people might make the argument, well, that's also when I was, you know, still mostly listening to, you know, modern metal bands, you know, stuff like that. And I would definitely agree with that. I probably was listening to more modern bands then whenever Outlive came out. But yeah, the passion just isn't all there. And lately, especially, you know, these last couple of years, I've been asking myself, why did I take this band as seriously as I did? You know, I feel like throughout the years, throughout this channel's life cycle, I've taken this band way too seriously. And it seemed as though that I've treated this band like a lifestyle and not just another band to be into, you know? I don't know. I thought that they were just the most untouchable band in metalcore and metal in general, you know? like nothing could top these guys for me. Now, like I said, I'll always be a Demon Hunter fan, you know. I'll always, you know, check out their music whenever they have new music coming out. I'll still listen to their albums time to time because I still do think that they're a really good band. But it's just the passion. It's not all there, you know. I feel like I just think I'm at this point now where the nostalgia is finally starting to wear off. Similar to what happened to me with Breaking Benjamin. Now, the nostalgia is still there with Breaking Benjamin, for me for sure. But, you know, I feel like, you know, I'm getting to that place with Demon Hunter that I am with Breaking Benjamin, you know? So I feel like that's kind of where I'm getting at as far as Demon Hunter is concerned, you know? And I gotta be honest, their most recent albums, War and Peace, I know that they've held up well for a lot of people, but I gotta be real with you guys, but for me, they just haven't held up well for me, especially during the second half of the year. Now, I've said this before, in the first half of 2019, when these albums came out, you know, I listened to them quite often, you know, but whenever the second half of the year came around, I was just like, I mean, the excitement is, you know, weared off, I guess, you know. And I feel like, you know, I've taken this band a little too seriously. Like, I don't know what the deal was, you know. And also, you have to take in consideration, too. I mean, you've had a lot of great albums come out throughout 2019, you know. It's really rare when, you know, times like this actually happen for, you know, all these bands to come out with music in the same year. I mean, we had bands like Queensryche, Tool, Dream Theater, As I Lay Dying, Killswitch Engage, and Slipknot, you know, that all come out with albums, and I think all of those even surpass War and Peace, which I know some people might not agree with that, but I don't know. The passion just isn't there. I don't know if it's just Ryan Clark's voice is starting to overstay its welcome for me, because I mean, it's just that voice. Like, I've just consumed that voice through so many years, you know, of being a Demon Hunter fan. So it's like, I just think, you know, I'm at that place where it's time for new things, you know. It's time to let go of the nostalgia, you know, even though I still will always be a Demon Hunter fan, you know. And I know people have given me crap for taking this band very seriously. And, you know, I still would, you know, take them seriously to an extent, and I still would defend them today. And, you know, I think, well, like I said, the reason that, you know, people give me crap for taking them seriously is because, you know, I guess, you know, they're not really the best metalcore band. And I never said that they were the best metalcore band or whatever. But I do think that they're the most unique, and that's actually one of the reasons why I do defend them and was passionate about them, minus the nostalgia, of course. And one of the other reasons why I've gotten really passionate and overly defensive when it came to Demon Hunter is, well, you guys know that Demon Hunter was, you know, they're not really a well-known band, you know. Now, I know some people might say, well, they're not really underground, you know, not underground like some of the bands that I'm into, like a real metalhead, you know, whatever, but yeah, they're not as well known as, you know, a lot of the mainstream metal bands, you know. And since Demon Hunter was my first metal band, you know, it's something that I got very passionate about. Because, you know, I feel like when most people list their first metal bands that they've gotten into, you know, it's usually bands like Slipknot or Avenged Sevenfold or Disturbed, or maybe bands like them. You know, bands that are, you know, already getting the recognition. They're bands that are already, you know, very big and very recognizable. And, you know, when it's like, I just always had this thought, like, well, what about my first metal band? You know, what about Demon Hunter? You know, they're a good band too, you know? And that's something that, you know, I also kind of thought, you know, I just don't understand, you know, why people, you know, completely dismiss this band. Because whenever I was a Demon Hunter fan, you know, especially when I was full-on Demon Hunter fanboy, I mean, being a Demon Hunter fan is something that is actually very unique. Even though I sometimes do give the fan base crap for their, I guess, restrictions, when it comes to a lot of metal, it is, a unique feeling being in the Demon Hunter fan base, because it's like this journey you want to invite everyone on, because it's very unique, because I feel like Demon Hunter is this band like no other, and I still kind of feel about them like that today, I feel like, they make the best ballads out of any other metalcore band. I mean, I still have that opinion. I mean, it's really hard to top their ballads. I mean, you look at some of the ballads by All That Remains, which are very cheesy, mind you, and it's like, not even those ballads. No, not even close. No competition whatsoever. But, yeah. Now, obviously, I still kind of do, will defend them, of course, and, take them a little seriously, because, well, I can always look back and say, they were one of my first metal bands. This was the band that really helped me get into metal and helped me get into heavier sounding music in general. So, yeah, I mean, it is one of those cases as well, I think. But I finally just had to realize that, the nostalgia, I can't keep letting the nostalgia talk for me, And I just had to let that nostalgia go to an extent. I can still visit the past. I've said this many times. There's nothing wrong with visiting the past. But I know people that live in the past. And that's not something you want to do. So I'll just go ahead and tell you that. But I just got to say that the passion is not as there as it used to be. And the lack of the Demon Hunter content really does say that for itself, I think. But like I said several times throughout this video, I will still always be a Demon Hunter fan, and, all that good stuff. So that's pretty much my video, guys. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys kind of feel the same way? I mean, are you a Demon Hunter fan that's also kind of feeling the same way? Like, you still like the bands, but, like, you've just been finding other bands that you just like more? Is the nostalgia finally starting to, I guess, wear off? Because it is for me, because I just have to realize that, I'm not really living in that time anymore, and that's something that I just had to face. But, yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video, all that I said, all that stuff. But anyway, thanks for watching, have a nice day, and take care.